Hey guys, today we're going to do a guitar pedal shootout between two very interesting overdrive pedals. Both of these pedals are two-powered Tube Screamers, so they're both variations on the Tube Screamer circuit, and both of them have a tube powering them, albeit tubes that are very different from the ones in your guitar amp. So on the left here we have the Maxon TOD9 True Tube Overdrive. So for people who don't know, Maxon is the Japanese company that was originally building the original Tube Screamers back in 1979. So the old Tube Screamers from back then, the vintage Tube Screamers that are labeled Ibanez, were actually made by Maxon, right? Ibanez just contracted them out to Maxon, and they made the original Tube Screamers for them all the way up until the early 2000s when Ibanez decided to market Tube Screamers and build them themselves. Whereas Maxon also decided to market their own line of Tube Screamers. So that's why these days you see on the market Maxon and Ibanez Tube Screamers, right? But before, the original vintage Tube Screamers were all built by Maxon. And this is their take on the two-powered Tube Screamer. They came out with this way before Ibanez came out with theirs. So this one came out, I think, maybe like 10 years ago or something like that. A while ago, but it's still a very good pedal. It's powered by a Raytheon sub-miniature tube, so this is different from the tube that you see in your amp, right? This is a much smaller tube. It has to fit inside this compact Tube Screamer size chassis, and there's 4 different control knobs here. You have the drive knob, which controls the gain. Then you have the level knob, which controls the volume. Tone knob controls the tone, and the tube knob actually blends in the tube gain signal with the original Tube Screamer signal. So the circuit that this is based on is the OD808, which is probably the most popular Maxon pedal because it's based on the original Ibanez TS808. But this tube knob right here blends in the gain from the sub-miniature tube, and it adds it onto the drive, right? The drive is the gain from the Tube Screamer, the OD808 circuit, and the tube will blend in more and more of the tube gain. So if you turn the tube all the way down, basically, this is just an OD808 circuit, but once you turn up the tube volume knob, this will blend in more and more of the tube signal. So that makes this this is a very interesting pedal because it's an OD808 with the option to blend in more and more tube gain, right? It's essentially what that is. All right, so Maxon makes very good pedals, and Ibanez came out with their own two-powered pedal. This came out a few years ago, much later than Maxon, and their tube is a little bit different. It's called a Nu Tube. So Nu Tube is a different technology that was invented by Korg, and I think the first device I've seen that uses a Nu Tube was the Vox MV1 amps that I've used, and I did a video review of it last year in 2019. But yeah, now you see Nu Tubes being used in other applications as well. This is one of the first times I've seen a Nu Tube being used in a guitar pedal, which is very interesting. So Nu Tube is similar to a vacuum tube. So this sub-miniature tube is actually a vacuum tube, but it's a very small one, right? It's the one that was used way back, World War II and stuff like that. They used it for different applications. So this is an actual old style vacuum tube. This one, a Nu Tube, is just something new that Korg invented, right? And this Japanese company, Norishite Take or something like that. Anyways, Nu Tube is a new invention that behaves similarly to a tube, but it's not actually a vacuum tube. So there's 4 knobs on this pedal, just like there is on the Maxon. You have pretty much the same knobs. You have drive, which controls the gain. Level controls the volume, tone controls the tone, and then this 4th knob here is the mix knob, which will actually mix how much overdrive from the tube signal gets mixed in. This is very similar to the tube knob on the Maxon, right? So pretty much very similar knob. You can mix in how much overdrive that you want from the tube. So yeah, you can mix the original Tube Screamer, which I believe this is also based on the Ibanez TS808, right? You can even see the influence from the original square switch here, which is from the TS808. Whereas Maxon took their switch from the TS9, right? So this is a TS9 style switch, and the Nu Tube Screamer uses the old square foot switch. So this is the same as the TS808, and I believe the circuit is based on the TS808. So these 2 pedals should be very interesting because they are very similar, yet different, right? Of course, they use different technologies. This is using a Nu Tube by Korg, whereas this is using a sub-miniature tube by Raytheon. So both of them, you can blend in the signals from the tubes, and they're both pretty expensive pedals. I think they both retailed for around $250 US, brand new. Of course, I bought them for cheaper than that, right? I bought both of these for $150 off of eBay used, so that's why I got both of these now. Just want to compare and contrast them. I'm interested to see what differences and similarities they have. I would not pay full price for these pedals because they're really expensive. They were like $250 MSRP each, but yeah, online you can find them used for a little bit cheaper than that. So I picked them up both for $150 each. But should be pretty interesting. They're both based on classic Tube Screamer circuits. The new Tube Screamer based on the TS808 with the new tube technology added. Then the Maxon TOD9 is based on the OD808, which should be the exact same as the TS808. But it's made by Maxon, which should be in theory more authentic actually, because Maxon made the original circuits with the sub-miniature tube inside. So yeah, let's test it out. I have my Fender Stratocaster guitar plugged in to my Milkman 1 watt plus amp, which is a reasonably clean amp. It's a Fender style amp, and I'm not going to turn any other effects on. I just have a buffer going through here. That's pretty much all there is, and both of these pedals are true bypass. Both of these pedals are made in Japan, by the way, which is probably why, in addition to the tube, another reason why these pedals are both pretty expensive. Both of them are actually made in Japan. So yeah, not in Southeast Asia, not in China. So they're both pretty well built pedals. I do have reservations about the square foot switch though. I do kind of wish that Ibanez could have gone with a TS9 style foot switch, because these are a little bit easier to press, a little bit easier to hit, and more durable as well. The square foot switch, yeah, a lot of the TS808s from back in the day, the foot switch malfunctions or it doesn't really work anymore because it's not as durable and it's harder to hit. But that's my only reservation about the two. Otherwise, they're two very interesting pedals. Anyways, let's go ahead and compare them. All right, so now I'm going to turn on the Maxon. Bridge and middle. Going back to the neck, now I'm going to play around with some of the different settings now. So there's now level. We can of course turn level down, but it won't sound like anything. So we need level turned up. Tone can be turned up to full. Drive can be turned up to full. So the interesting one is the tube. So like I said, the tube, if you roll it down, pretty much all you're hearing right now is the Maxon OD808. So this is the sound of a Maxon OD808 basically, because there's nothing from the tube now. When I put the tube on, now maybe you guys can hear a difference from the tube versions. Now if I roll the tube all the way up, then this is where the tube gets all of its influence. Gain. That's all coming from the sub-miniature tube now on the Maxon. definitely adds more gain, more compression once you turn the tube on. So that's pretty much the Maxon. I guess I can turn the drive and the tube up to full. This pedal. So that is the Maxon TOD9. Now we're going to try the Ibanez Nu Tube Screamer. Okay, everything's set to noon. Alright. Alright, so again, let's look at my clean settings first. After the Ibanez, turn it on. Then I got the neck in the middle. Got a bridge in the middle. Else in the neck now. Alright, so of course, we turn the tone all the way down. Now we can turn the drive all the way up. Okay, now we're going to try the same thing with the mix. So I'm going to turn the mix all the way down. So this should be just the Ibanez TS808 effect now. Ibanez TS808, that's what you're hearing now. Sounds a little bit more tighter than the OD808, I think. Okay, and now we're going to put this up to noon, so I'm going to blend some of the Nu Tube in. Interesting. It's a different sound from the TOD9, not necessarily better or worse. Sounds to me like maybe there's a little bit even more compression on the Nu Tube Screamer. Now I'm going to turn it up all the way to full now. The OD, the mix, all the way to full. So now we get that full Korg Nu Tube goodness. Alright, and we turn both of them up to full. Let's try this. Drive in the So yeah guys, that's both of the Tube Screamers. I think I can't say which one's actually better, they're just different. Both of them are very nice sounding. They do both add kind of a tube-like sag and compression. Of course, the original Tube Screamer was actually already known for sounding kind of like a tube, right? Hence the name, and it's a classic overdrive that gives you a lot of added mid-range, and you know, just known all the world over for giving you really nice tones with your guitar. Overdrive, it's a classic pedal. So now both Maxon and Ibanez have given us a bit of a variation on the classic Tube Screamer circuit by incorporating tubes inside of it. Now, different from the tubes that you use in your amp, of course, but they're both, you know, they're both tubes that are supposed to add some more tube-like quality to the Tube Screamers. So another thing I forgot to mention is that both of these pedals can actually operate at up to 18 volts for increased headroom. So I'm not using an 18 volt adapter, I'm just using a standard 9 volt adapter. But I have to just mention that if you want to get even more increased headroom and gain, then you can actually use an 18 volt adapter for both of these, and it's going to increase the headroom, increase the gain, and open up the pedal a little bit more. So this is not even the full taste of its abilities. Of course, I think most people are going to be using a standard 9 volt because that's what most pedals use. But if you're interested in really extracting the full power of both of these pedals, then using an 18 volt adapter for both of these might be very interesting and open up the pedals even more, right? So that's just something to note. I don't have an 18 volt adapter to test with, but yeah, if you do have an 18 volt adapter, you can probably unlock the full potentials of both of these pedals. So yeah, now we're just going to do a straight up comparison between, let's just put tube at full for both, drive in the middle, and then just do one by one direct comparison, okay? And I have neck and middle setting on my Strat. Alright, so first the Maxon TOD9. And I can add NTS. The TOD9 adds more bass. I guess it's more low-end heavy, whereas the Ibanez NTS seems to be a bit more tighter on the mid-range. I mean, that's just from what I'm hearing, right? So definitely I do hear more of a low end on the TOD9. It sounds a little bit more full compared to the NTS. They both can be pretty aggressive. I think the TOD9 may have just a little bit more on tap than the NTS. So again, TOD9. NTS. Definitely think that Maxon is a bit more full, so you can probably hear that. You guys can hear that, right? The new Tube Screamer seems like it's it's a little bit more thin, if that makes sense. More compressed, more thin. Not to say that it's worse. It's just different, right? yeah, the Maxon definitely sounds more full to me. Both of them are going to be giving your guitar signal a substantial boost, but I just think that Maxon has a little bit more gain on tap and sounds more fuller to me. Not to say that it's better than the Nu Tube Screamer, they're just different. For me, I think I'm leaning towards the Maxon TOD9 a little bit more. Let's hear the Nu Tube Screamer again with the full drive on though. Full drive, yeah, let's try it. Maxon, turn the drive up to full too. Definitely more gain on the Maxon, I think, to my ears anyways. So let's take a look at the backs of both. So yeah, like I said, both of them are made in Japan. They pretty much look the same. They have a similar design, and that's only because Maxon is the original manufacturer of the Tube Screamer pedals. They made the 9 series design, and then Ibanez pretty much just kept true to the Maxon design. So it's pretty similar. Ibanez decided to put the AC adapter on the side here for some reason. It's kind of an odd location. I prefer Maxon's location on the top. That's a more traditional location. And then the battery compartments, both of them are pretty much the same, right? Got your 9 volts in there, and both of them are very, very rugged, so you don't have to worry about ever damaging these or dropping these. Like I said, the 9 series is built like a tank for both of these. The only thing is the foot switch on the Ibanez is done in the TS808 style, which to me, I think this is a little bit more fragile compared to the 9 series foot switch right here. Although the casing, I don't have any problem with that. I think both of them are very durable. It's just the switch on the Nu Tube Screamer I'm a little bit worried about because it uses the same style as the TS808, which is known for breaking more often compared to this one. Yeah, very interesting. And Nu Tube Screamer, it's the first time I'm trying this out. Maxon TOD9, I have used this for a year now. So very interesting comparison between the two. Let me know in the comment section below which one do you prefer. I've used now both of these pedals. I've turned the tube mix to full just to show you guys the differences between the Nu Tube and the sub-miniature tube that the Maxon uses. And let me know which one you guys prefer. Like I said, to my ears, I think the Maxon more fuller, more low end, a little bit more gain on tap. Tube Screamer seems a little bit more compressed to me, slightly thinner, and focusing more maybe on the high and middle frequencies. So yeah guys, let me know which two-power Tube Screamer do you guys prefer. Both of these, again, similar prices, both by the companies that originally made the Tube Screamer. Maxon originally made it, but Ibanez, of course, known more just for the brand of the Tube Screamer that they've had for many, many years. And this one, the TOD9, is the older pedal, came out around 2010, I think. Whereas the Ibanez, this one has been here for maybe like 2 years. I think it came out in like 2018 or something like that. So this one's definitely the newer pedal. Uses the newer technology, Nu Tube. This one uses the old sub-miniature tube technology from World War II. Both very interesting takes on the Tube Screamer circuit, based on the OD808, this one based on the TS808. But yeah guys, let me know what you think. Which sound do you prefer? Which overdrive pedal do you guys think enhances the Tube Screamer circuit more? Let me know in the feedback comment section below. And yeah, that's it. As always guys, thanks for watching.